How's everything going over there, Chris?
Good. We just, stay off, just running around, getting all kinds of stuff accomplished and whatnot, and food prep after this for tomorrow and a little bit of the week, and hopefully kick back a little bit,
How's the weather over there? It's been fucking brutally humid over here for the last few days.
It's been pretty hot. I think today was in the low 90s right now, or maybe the high 80s. But it's perfect out right now. Honestly, it's not bad.
You get a lot of humidity out there?
No, Reno's pretty dry.
See, we get a lot of humidity where 8 in the morning, and it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
8 in the morning, you're already covered with sweat. You know it's going to be bad, and my body can't handle it quite the way I used to.
Yeah. It seemed like when you're a kid, you're like impervious to that sort of stuff, or you just don't care as much.
Well, I remember when I was back in my fighting, when I was fighting, and we did a lot of road work. I would go out in the summertime. I put on 2 freaking sweatshirts. I go out jogging in 90-degree weather. I just carry a water bottle to sip on and to pour over my head so I don't overheat, and I was fine. If I attempted anything close to that now, I drop dead. I would just drop dead.
We're at that age where you want the thermostat at a certain temperature, and that's it.
Did you get the last thing I sent you on the text? I sent you a link. Did you see it?
No, but I've been running around.
But you brought up something to talk about, so I think that would have part of an explanation as to why. You see it? You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, something about steroids.
Yeah. Well, what were you talking about with the Middle Eastern countries? You brought it up to me.
What I was referring to was like how, in the Middle East, it seems that they worship bodybuilders like they do soccer players, in certain parts over there. And over here, it seems like, America is just separating itself farther and farther from the rest of the world with its outlook towards things, and it's almost like it's like frowned upon to be a health nut or even a bodybuilder. People, like to say you're self-absorbed or you're vain, but it's like, any artist who's working at a masterpiece, it doesn't matter if it's a piece of stone, their body, or even like a plumber, they like to set up all their pipes perfectly and make them look nice, and that's starts turning into art when it's something you have a lot of skill and talent and time you invest into, and you take pride in your work.
As I was just supposed to say, it's a matter of taking pride in what you're doing.
Yeah, and it just seems like these days, like in America, it's just you got all these like they're promoting it's sexy to be fat, like obese. Sorry, I don't find that attractive. I mean, someone could look good and still be fat, or overweight. They could still look beautiful, and but in no way, shape, or form is that healthy. Nor should they promote it, because I mean, when you start getting to 300 pounds, 250, and you're 5'7", you're whatever, you're gonna have diabetes and heart problems and all kinds of shit going wrong. So, but it seems like that's like what people want to accept right now. Whereas if you're ripped and you're a bodybuilder, like, oh, fucking steroids, or that guy's full of himself, or fuck him,
Well, I think part of the problem is the steroids, because first the way steroids are looked at by the general public, and there's absolutely no denying. You can't see. We know what's going on in all sports, but it's they wouldn't be able to accomplish the things they do in these sports if they weren't being assisted.
Yeah.
But with bodybuilding, it smacks you right in the face. Is very apparent. There's
Yeah.
no denying it.
You know,
So
I like comparing it to like, transgenders and stuff. Like they take whatever freaking hormones to achieve a certain look that they feel comfortable with, and
yeah,
fuck, it's paid for by doctors now, and it's widely accepted if they want to do something like that. But heaven forbid you want to do that to be a bodybuilder.
yeah. I mean that's really it's so hypocritical. But
It is.
what I was saying is, so now you have that stigma that's already attached to it, and you can't get away from it. So people, the mainstream is turned away from it partly because of that. And even if you're natural, if you have a really good build and you're natural, you're still going to be accused of using steroids anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think a big part of that it's looked at differently. It's looked at one way in the Middle East, for example, as compared to here, has to do with the way the mainstream views the use of steroids.
Yeah.
I think that's a major part. It's you saw did you open up that article I sent you?
I mean, I was talking to you while I opened it.
It's not necessarily legal, but it's not frowned upon, and it's very accessible, and they don't think much about it. It's not an issue, and I think part of that has part of the appeal of bodybuilding is over there is why it's more appealing there than here is that there's it's not the steroid aspect is not an issue,
Yeah.
and you build up your body. You see it as there's a strength component. The Middle Eastern athletes are also heavy into the weightlifting competition.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. Displaying the strength and the steroids, the use of steroids is not really considered an issue, and I think that has part of to do with the reason why there's not as much appeal for it from the mainstream as it is there or even other places.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like America's. Remember how we were talking about like the everybody wins fucking sports and
Yeah,
everyone's special, no one's a loser kind of thing. Like I think because America's embracing that stupid mentality of weakness, it's bodybuilding then becomes something more unattainable to the common person or your average Joe around here because everyone's so soft these days. They don't have any. No one has any self-discipline. No one has any. They don't want to take ownership of their actions or anything anymore. Everything's everyone else's fault. I'm obese because of this and that, and life is hard because of this.
their
So
their view on us injecting hormones for some reason seems to be like a prejudice against the men because women have been getting estrogen replacement therapy for quite a long time now. Am I correct?
yeah, sure.
As far as well, men can get TRT now, and it's not that difficult, but
Yeah,
it's
I know
only,
someone on that.
but it's only in very recent time. It
Yeah,
was perfectly fine for the women to get estrogen replacement therapy, but it took so long for the men. It's no big deal for a man that says he feels like a woman to be given female hormones, or a woman that feels like a man to be given male hormones. They're willing to give it to children.
oh, I
Yeah,
know. They're
almost
giving the children
almost
for
for,
crying out loud.
almost for the opposite sex.
Yeah,
But a man trying to put a little more into him of what he already has is like such an outrageous thing to do. How dare you?
yeah. What a junkie, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's especially when you're taking what's going on now in some places. I think I believe in some states there have already been laws already passed preventing it from happening. But I remember, I believe it was in Texas not that long ago. A guy was in court fighting his ex-wife or his wife, a woman that he's separated from. I don't think it was just the mother of his child. I think they were married. I'm not sure what their status was at the time. She has custody, and she wants to give the kid. The kid feels like boy feels like a girl, and wants to give him female hormones, transition him. He was in court fighting it. I don't know what the outcome of that was, but here you got one parent wants to give the kid. I mean, does a child, kids at that age, kids want to be a lot of things
I know.
at that age.
I wanted to be a fucking wolf when I was 7.
So, I feel like no, a kid at that age, you can't determine. You're not ready to determine something like that. Besides
No.
the fact that I think anybody, if you think you're something that you're not, to me I'm sorry, but that's a mental disorder. But that's fine. But a male taking male hormones is not. So I'd like somebody to explain that one to me.
Oh, the hypocrisy of America these days is unreal. I mean, unreal. So I don't know.
I mean,
But
you know what? If you want to talk about going mainstream here, it won't go mainstream until uh, the view of steroids has changed.
yeah,
And
maybe the whole transgender thing will help. Alleviate bad feelings towards hormone therapy of sorts. 'Cause obviously, I mean, you don't see many females competing in a male sport, but if they were, they'd be on testosterone for sure. They still wouldn't be where a man is because of the bone structure and whatnot. But
still wouldn't be able to compete on. See, people don't realize. See, a man transitioning into a woman. I don't care what hormones you're taking, testosterone blockers, taking estrogen. I don't care what you're taking. You still have a decided advantage over a woman,
yeah,
plain and simple.
me and my wife talk about this all the time, and she like agrees, and it's just funny the mainstream what the mainstream media pushes.
Well, even Bruce Jenner, and I'm sorry if I don't call him Caitlyn. Even Bruce Jenner agrees with it. You can't have them against, but I don't know. This world's going crazy.
Sure is. But what was it? A couple of countries are starting to ban the swimming thing with the male swimming in
Well,
the female section.
it's already been. They already taken action in the swimming organization here.
Oh, here
Uh,
too. Good.
Unless you transition before the age of 12, you cannot compete in the women's sport.
So the age of 12
That's,
now.
but you know what? Let me tell you something. It wasn't publicized. I don't know what her name was, but we're talking about a legitimate biological woman. She was told that if she wants to continue to compete with the women, she had to take testosterone blockers.
I remember that. Yeah.
She was tested, and her levels were considered higher than the average woman. Let me tell you something. I guarantee you, if you test all these women on the lead athletes, and I'm talking about someone that's not taking any drugs at all, they're totally natural, but they're at an elite status in their particular sport. I guarantee you, those women will most likely have higher testosterone levels than the average woman. And that's what allows them to be. Because women at I'm talking about a woman at a level that she's going to beat the average guy in the same endeavor, but she's genetically gifted,
You know,
and that's what it was. So this was her natural. She wasn't taking it. They weren't accusing her of taking anything, but for her to compete in the women's division, she had to take uh, testosterone blockers. I don't know what the outcome was on that one.
I mean, all I gotta say about that is, I mean, if women's testosterone ranges, I don't, I want to say it's anywhere from point, oh something to like one whatever, a whole unit of whatever you want to do the measurement of. It's very minute. So, especially compared to a man. So if a woman has, let's just say she has higher levels, um, it's not going to be like she's in the 600 range or the 800 range where it would make a difference, but maybe by 100 whatever grams or whatever the fuck, it's not going to be by a lot. It can't be. She doesn't have balls.
But
You know,
I don't know what they consider
well,
high, too much for a woman. That's the point. You need to know. You also need to know how much what they consider. Uh, this is okay for a woman to measure at, but this isn't. We don't know where that point is.
but even so, it doesn't matter because it's been proven that there's guys who naturally run at 8 to 900 and guys who naturally run at 400 or whatever, and
Right.
they both have the same output of physical effort, recovery, growth, all this stuff because people operate at different levels with a similar output. You know what I mean? And
All right. Let me
it's
ask you this. Let me ask you this. So you think I mean, I was just throwing that out there. That's what I was theor. I guess you say that's what I was theorizing. That you don't think that a woman totally natural, but she's at the elite level of her sport, that she would have naturally higher testosterone levels than the average woman. You disagree on that? You don't think that would be?
no, I think it's possible. I'm just saying it's not
Okay.
going to make it. It's not going to make a huge difference like they think it is.
You don't think that's going to make a difference in the performance? In other
Maybe a
words,
little, but I'm not. It's like the natural crowd that thinks you take one shot of steroids and you're fucking huge overnight. It's not going to make the difference everyone's thinking it is, because again, the most a woman could produce at the highest levels is still fractions of a man in the low end, and because they don't have balls,
right?
plain and
Well,
simple.
I was just theorizing what might uh, account for that difference in performance, and
Yeah.
so that bring them to that level. So I mean, that's nothing that I read. I was told by anyone. It was just something I was kicking around my head, and it sounds to me it sounded plausible. That's where I'm going.
I just don't, because I remember when I was getting my T levels tested and talking to a few doctors, and they say it really doesn't matter if Joey is at 900 and you're at 400. It doesn't mean you're going to get less boners. It doesn't mean you're going to have less pumps in the gym. It doesn't really mean anything. That's just where your body operates at, and it's
Okay,
not going to make a vast, there is a difference, but it's not going to make a vast difference even at that. What makes a vast difference is if you're taking extra testosterone
right.
altogether.
Now, would this be a factor that we're all different? Uh, you and me utilize the testosterone differently,
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
more efficiently.
Yeah, some people more than others. Yeah, that's why, let's just say the guy who's at 400 feels like he's at 800 because maybe that's his body utilizes it. I known a guy who was in the 400s, but his free test was through the fucking roof naturally. and it was almost like he didn't have any testosterone issues, but he did. But it was his base test that was low, or it wasn't even 400's okay. But in retrospect to his free testosterone levels, it was off the charts for what someone natural should be able to do. But there he was, he's natural, and his fucking free test is through the fucking roof. You know, so it, even though he's at baseline 400, doesn't mean he's gonna feel like he's at a low number. He's gonna operate wherever the fuck he operates. You know.
Well, that's purely the genetic thing. But that that would also make him a better athlete. Also.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors in how your body utilizes it. DHT conversion, you know, like people who go bald and get bitch tits, or people who don't have that problem.
I mean, I've seen women build muscle naturally. I'm not talking anything like where a man builds muscle, but I've seen women build muscle naturally, unlike the way most women would build.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that. Yeah.
There has to be something going on inside. A reason why that woman builds muscle, even not comparable to a man, but just comparing it to other women. Yeah, most women don't build muscle like that naturally. So did I lose Chris? Chris, you froze up. If you don't come back on, just go off and then come back on. All right. Well, we were trying to figure out the reason why a woman might, at least I was trying to figure out the reason why a woman might perform at a higher level than a man. I seem to think that women have higher testosterone levels, at least women that are competing at that elite level. The same way I see some women. Chris, just go off and come back on. All right, the same way I see some women natural. Do I got you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, for everybody watching, we had a little glitch over here. I'm gonna try to edit it as best as possible. As I was saying to you, Chris, I see some women that build muscle, nothing like the way a man builds muscle, but definitely not like most women build muscle. And my assumption was always that women like that, and these women, I'm talking about natural women, these women would naturally have higher testosterone levels.
I think it's entirely possible. There's definitely more factors like myostatin, you know, levels, growth hormone levels, you know, that's associated with body type, ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph. Endomorph producing the most growth hormone, ectomorph producing the least. Ectomorph produces the most testosterone, endomorph is the least testosterone. And other genetic factors that come into play. I wouldn't say it's just testosterone, but you know, like
I would have. I'm sorry. I would have assumed that it would transfer, most likely be a factor.
yeah, I'm sure it affects the outcome. You know, like like my lady, for instance, she puts on muscle real easily, and she's just built like that. Whereas like there's another girl I can think of who's the same height. In fact, her sister is built so thin. She's like a long distance runner, but it's just how she's built. That's her bone structure. That's just her, you know, it's just people's body types, I think, play a huge role in how all those things are going to play out.
I remember, going back years ago, I was in the martial arts. I remember a girl that trained in my dojo, Laura Klacheski, that's the name. And she didn't lift weights or anything. She just trained the martial arts, push-ups, free squats, and stuff like that, and all the martial arts training. And you see in the summertime, when she come in there before she changes into a gi, which is wearing her shorts and a small top,
Mm.
the girl had muscles, and she didn't even lift. That just came from whatever she was doing, push-ups, free squats, and all the training she was doing in the martial arts. And when she got flexed, you saw those muscles. Uh, so my assumption over, and she was definitely a woman, and I had no thought that she was taking anything. She just had the genetics and most likely had higher levels. And this is somebody that didn't even work out with weights.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who knows, unless there was some thorough testing done. I mean, you can just chalk it up to genetics, really. Some people have the gift, and some people just don't. Whatever makes up that gift, I couldn't say, but genetics is a fascinating topic. It's amazing how we're all so similar but so different at the same time, and it's really exciting, when you see a physique come on stage that's put together so uniquely, like Ronnie Coleman.
Well, a lot of people still won't believe that. I think the Olympia the Olympia before he won, I think in '97. At that point, and he had dropped. I think the year before he was seventh, and then in '97, I think he was ninth. I think in '97, at that point he was still natural. Then all of a sudden, in the '98 shows leading up to the Olympia, is when everybody just started to see that crazy change in him, and that's when he started working with Shawn Nichols. And I think so. He competed in numerous Olympias, natural. That's pure genetics. Even though he didn't place the best, he wasn't winning shows. The fact that he was getting there, he got there, and he was returning natural speaks a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even to get to the Olympia stage naturally he already it's quite clear back then that he had what it took to be the best.
We had a number of pros that I can name a few that turned pro natural. A number of them turned pro natural. Uh, he's the only one I can think of that actually went to the Olympia natural. Do I have you there still? It looks like I lost Chris again. We were talking about genetics, Ronnie Coleman. How many people don't believe it, but not only did he turn pro natural, he competed in, I think, all the Olympias prior to him winning natural. All right, people. Chris, do I still have you, Chris?
Hear me,
Chris,
Mike?
Chris is giving me a lot of editing to do on this one. This one's going to be a little bit of a project to edit and get up. All right. So we were talking about Coleman. All right, we got from the steroids to the genetics. And Ronnie Coleman, I believe all his Olympic competitions up to the one he won, until the one he actually won, he was natural. Those few shows before the Olympia, Night of Champions that he won, there was another show that he won. I can't remember what it was. At that point, I think he was already on. But I think all the Olympias, not just the first couple, I think all the Olympias that he competed in, he was actually natural.
Yeah, I think Kai Green also comes to mind. He was did some shows when he was still natural, and he looked. I think he won a bunch of shows natural, didn't he?
I'm not sure, but if he did, they were smaller ones. But Ronnie for sure was the only one who actually made it. Well, some say Darren Charles claims to be all natural, and I forgot about him. He made it to the Olympia. Actually, I might be really mistaken. Did Charles Claremont make it to the Olympia?
I remember the name, but I don't remember if he made it to the Olympia or not.
Because he also claimed, and if
Charles Claremonte, yeah. He I don't know, but he looked amazing back in the day.
yeah.
Who was I gonna? Philip Tracy. Do you believe he was natural?
Who?
Philip Tracy.
Bill Tracy?
I think his name was Philip Tracy. Black dude.
Jesus, I'm not sure who you're talking about. From what era was it? When was it? What years?
Like the 80s. Let me see if I can look. I might have the name wrong. It's possible. But he was a guy who he claimed to be natural, and I think he was full of shit. But I must have the wrong name.
I'm trying to think of another Philip. The first name would you think the first name is Philip though?
I thought it was, but I could be wrong now.
All right, we get back to that.
Yeah.
But now back to when you asked about why is it Borg so accepted, why they so revered in places like the Middle East, and like I said, I think it comes down to the steroid issue, the way steroids are looked at, and it's not very difficult. Let me tell you something. Those guys out there are using the real shit. It's not like here. It's not hard to get.
Yeah.
Although it might not be technically legal, they can walk into pharmacies and get the stuff, and it's not frowned upon. And until that changes here, it's never gonna have the same type of popularity here. The vanity thing also probably has a lot to do with it, way people look at that. But I think the biggest issue would be the steroids. You can't even have a great body these days naturally. Because if you have a great body naturally, you're still accused of using steroids.
Yeah, that always happened to me.
That explains that.
Yeah. Either way, people. If you're bodybuilding, I think people they just think steroids and they think junkie and self-absorbed, whatever the fuck. It's unfortunate people look at it that way for the most part.
Well,
Here.
In the past, when I would talk to people, I didn't necessarily go out of my way to hide the topic when it came to about myself. But like I said, I never went out of the way to talk about it either. And these days, I think it is a little more accepted, but not as a whole in the mainstream. Now, I don't think twice about openly talking about it, just because I don't want to hear shit from people in the past. And well, maybe just because I got older, I just don't give a fuck anymore. You reach a certain age, you just don't give a fuck about anything anymore. What it is, what it is. Say whatever the hell you want. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, same. I am who I am. I do what I do. If you don't like it, you want to pass judgment on me like you're fucking perfect, well, fuck you. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. You go do you.
Yeah, if I sat down, took my time, and had a pen and paper, I could find a dozen and a half things about you that are not too savory.
Exactly. No one's perfect. It's like what was it that it's like a one of the stories or like things Jesus said. He said like let who's without sin cast the first stone or whatever, and they're stoning that lady.
Yeah.
And no one could throw a stone because no one was without sin. So it's like that's just what comes to mind. That story.
A lot of times, it's a divert attention, from your faults,
Yeah,
you.
people tell you a lot through their actions, through their jealousies, through their hate. Uh, they tell you everything.
So, I wanted to, with the posing, you can throw this by Jeff. See what he thinks. When you're when you're posing, right? Do you remember? There's two things about the posing. One thing, remember in Pumping Iron when Matty Ferrigno was talking to Louis? He's talking about me. Hits that front upper biceps, turn a little bit this way, turn a little that way. So this way the judges, not too much, but you want all the judges to get a front view of you. That's a good thing, I think, to do with all the poses. But also, I think a lot of people don't do it, and it can be effective for numerous reasons. When you see a lot of times when these guys are hitting the poses, one guy will sit next to the other guy and watch him as he hits the pose, and boom, as you'd be the last one to hit the pose, thinks it gets all the attention. You don't want to rush into the pose. Don't wait for everybody else to hit the pose and you last. Do it in your time. Get into that pose and just hold the motherfucker until the judges say relax, and then they'll call you into the next pose. Hold that sucker. If you have to turn a little slightly each direction, just ever so slightly, so all the judges get a frontal. But don't waste time getting into that pose, and make sure you're the last one holding it. It gives the judges a better chance if you're that confident in your physique. Right? It gives the judges a better chance to get a really good look at it, which is a major factor when they're judging your physique. But also, it might not be so apparent, but there's a psychological thing. You're telling them that you're ready. You're here to fight. You're here to win, and you think you're going to stand here as long as you have to, so they see that you have this physique. And whether they realize it when it's happening, but that's also that. And if you that along with bringing a really good package, it's going to have a combined effect. Hold that fucking. Don't waste time getting into that pose, and make sure you're the last one. Don't get out of that pose until the judge gives you the word to get out of that pose. Show them that you're there to mean, and you mean business.
I always hate when you see someone strike a really, really good pose, but then they hold it for a split second and then they go on to something else. You're like, oh, wait, I wasn't done. It's almost like, fuck, I want to take some points away because you didn't fucking let me look long enough.
Especially when when you're doing that, the judging and the comparisons, when they're calling the poses, you do not want to let go of that pose until the judges let you know that they've seen all they need to see.
That's why I'm doing the planks, holding planks, man. They help you with that mental battle when you're sitting there holding up just 2-minute planks, man. It's it's an eternity.
Like I said, not only that you're giving the judges longer time to really you put the work in, you put the work in, you're bringing a great physique. You're giving them ample time to really let your physique sink in, and they can see all the little details they're looking for. That is going to have a major effect on the way they score you, and just the psychological aspect, because you're exuding confidence. You're letting them know, and that's gonna, like I said, whether they realize it or not, that's gonna have an influence on them also.
Even when you're
telling them, hey, look at me, keep on looking at me. I am the winner.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know, even when you're standing to the side or in between poses, you know, you need to stand there with your legs flexed and your stomach tensed and sucked in still.
Yeah,
You get kudo
sure.
points for that. If a judge sees you still flexed and you're not supposed to be flexing, they're like, that guy's working for it, man. You know, I
Yeah.
can.
When you're off to the side waiting to be called up for the judging, you should be in that front standing relaxed pose.
Yeah.
You should
Yep.
be holding that. Yeah, like you said, you're telling the judge, I'm here I'm here for a fight. I'm here to win. And I'm in shape. And I can do this for as I remember hearing Dorian say the same thing when he was talking about what's going through his head. That I'm here to do this for as long as I have to do it.
Mhm. Yeah. There's like a certain trick to standing with your legs tensed all the time. You know how like you sit back into your hips and then you just create some tension with your quads. It doesn't even have to be a lot of tension, but when you sit back in those hips and you do the little tension with the quads, it goes a long way for what little effort it is, and you can hold it for a long time.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't matter if you're in. You don't have to put, like you said, you don't have to put a lot of tension on it. If you're in shape, if you did your work, that little bit of tension will be enough to show something there.
Especially if you're in shape. If you're in shape, you almost don't even have to flex to be looking like you're flexing. You know?
But you shouldn't be there with your hands on your hips, looking, talking to the next. I don't want to talk. When I was on stage, I didn't want to talk to the guy next to me. I always stood there. Well, I'm going back a few years also. More people did than that do it now. But I never thought of standing there relaxed.
Yeah.
I was there for business.
Same. Same.
You're doing a lot of posing.
Uh, not I wouldn't say I wouldn't call it a lot, but I'm getting in like around 30 minutes a day right now currently, and I mean I'm still 3 months out, so I'm not new at posing. It's not like I don't know what to do. For me, it's just a matter of doing it enough to condition myself to hold the poses, to not shake, and as far as body position, I've got the positioning down for every single pose. I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong per se. Like we were talking about a couple episodes ago, where people don't know how to do the fucking side chest or a
Right.
rear double bicep or a front double bicep or even how to flex their quads correctly without looking like an idiot. Uh, there's so many little things. So I mean, right now my focus with posing is not only to increase the time, but I need to choreograph my moves and my poses to my song. And once I do that, what I do is I put the song, I listen to it in my headphones, and I listen to it over and over. Yeah, I'm picturing in my head what I'm doing or like the feelings it gives me and what pose I want to strike with that feeling. And I listen to it until I get an idea or a picture in my head where I want to start, what I want to move to, and I draw it all on paper with stick figures. And then once I have it complete, that's when I like start practicing and uh, memorizing it by heart and all that stuff. And
Well, when with your posing practicing, just going on hitting the mandatories over and over again. That's gonna help bring out separation and detail. Also, people don't realize that you do those mandatories religiously over a period of time, and as you get more condition, that's really going to help bring out the detail and the separation in the muscle.
yeah, even my vacuum now, because I've been posing and doing the vacuum, my vacuum is getting deeper and deeper now, and it's easier to do it.
What are the mandatories to the classic?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think there's a front double bicep, there's a rear double bicep, there's a side chest. Um,
Front lat spread?
A front lat spread, and then there's the abs and thighs, and then
No,
I
most
think
muscular.
I don't think so. I don't
It's
think so.
your favorite class. It's your favorite classic pose, right?
And yeah, and then the last one would be your favorite classic pose. So
What is it? What are the 5 mandatories?
seems like yeah, I believe 5 mandatories and a sixth, old school pose of some sort.
See, that's one thing I've always disagreed with the classic physique. Uh, maybe you don't have to use the most muscular, because the most muscular wasn't I'm trying to remember what year it became a mandatory. It wasn't a mandatory in during Dorian's reign. I think in the beginning of Ronnie's, they were doing it, but it wasn't a mandatory. I'm not sure when it became a mandatory. But other than the most muscular, I always felt that the classic physique should do all the 7 other mandatories that are done in open. But were those back in the era that we called a classic? So going back to the Arnold era, Frank Zane, those were the mandatories. Those 7 poses highlighted every part of your body. So I
Yeah,
never quite understood why they wouldn't include all 7 of those poses in the required poses.
I agree with you. That was going through my head before you said it. So at
Yeah,
that point, you could choose any, you could really do any pose, and it'd be a classic pose, damn near.
yeah, because whether you're judging classic physique or you're judging 212 or you're judging open, even if you're judging men's physique. Well, you're not judging the legs because the legs are covered, but everything that's visible, you're judging. You're looking and trying to look at everything that's visible. Okay. You know what? Let's throw out the men's physique. Uh, but the 3 other divisions, you when you're assessing a body, you're supposed to be assessing all the body parts. So why wouldn't you include those other poses in the mandatories? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like even the rear lat spread. I don't know why they wouldn't have a rear lat spread, but they got a front lat spread.
I think the side tricep is not even a mandatory.
Yeah, it's not. I was
So
surprised when I heard that.
what other pose showcases the triceps?
Nothing other than a side tricep.
Nothing related to the side. I mean, you see when you side chest, you're getting an idea on the triceps, the rear double biceps, the way the triceps hang and everything. But the only pose that you really get a good look at what's going on with the triceps is the side triceps. And it's always been, like I said, even in the era, you're trying to emulate what Drew called to me the golden era was the 90s, but what a lot of people refer to as the golden era, that aesthetic era, what you're trying to bring back with classic physique. That was part of the posing back then. So if that's what you're trying to emulate, wouldn't it make sense to do all those things they were doing back then?
You would think so, but it's relatively new category still. So maybe they'll change it. Maybe they'll change some of the mandatory posings, and maybe we'll see it evolve a little more into something. But when I go up there, I'm gonna do their mandatories and do my one classic pose, and at the very end, I'm just gonna squeeze in a bunch of poses until they tell me to get off stage. You know?
Just quickly, I wanted to ask you one thing quickly before we start. close us out. I just
Sure.
made a video. I made a video. I think I titled it "A Great Olympia on the Horizon" about this year's Olympia. The three divisions that I think safe to say the two of us are basically are mostly interested in: the classic physique, the 212, and the open. All three of them are going to be extremely compelling for various reasons. I think I do think that Chris Bumstead is going to retain the title again, but I think that he's going to show a vulnerability that he hasn't shown before. And I think there are a lot of questions in the 212 and the open. I think if you take all those things into consideration, this is going to be a really compelling Olympia. I don't think the 212, even if Derek does make the weight, I don't think it's a shoe-in for him to retain the title. And we talked about it before. It's not a shoe-in for Ramy either if he shows up. Chris Bumstead, who's always been head and shoulders, literally and figuratively and literally above everybody else, I think he's gonna really start to show some vulnerability. I think this is gonna be one of the most compelling Olympians that we've ever had. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm excited about everything except the super heavyweight. I feel like what's his name? Nick Walker is gonna walk away with the title.
Yeah, he's going to be dangerous. But just the whole idea that uh, nothing is set in stone for the champion in the Open, and I don't, even if he's there, Derek, even if he can make the weight, which it's questionable, I don't think it's set in stone for him either. And someone who's been so dominant to start show vulnerability, everybody's gonna be on the edge of their seats. I think come this Olympia, I think hands down, this turned out to be one of the most exciting, if not the most exciting Olympia we've ever had.
How much longer? When is it? Is it in November or December?
This one's gonna be in December again.
Okay. Yeah,
I
I
think,
was wild pipe dream of mine. But if I win my next show and I go do the nationals and do really well at that, that'd be fun to go to the Olympia.
the Nationals is isn't it usually in October?
One of my buddies said it's so close to the
November?
Legion, you might as well just do it too.
When is the Nationals?
I don't know exactly.
I think it's usually held in, I'm not sure now. I'm running a blank. For some reason, I'm thinking October or November.
I think it's early November, to be honest with you. So I think Jeff Schneider's doing it.
Well, you would still have to win the pro show. But let me tell you something. You get to the Nationals on after one NPC show. That says a lot.
I know. That's why I'm not saying it's gonna happen because it never happens, but anything can happen. And you've seen my pictures. I mean,
Yeah,
you think
you
I
look
probably
good.
would do okay, you know?
You know, you don't think like that. Like you said, you're going there to win. It does.
Absolutely. I mean, I believe in myself, but I don't want to. I'm not. What do you say? Unrealistic. You know.
Yeah, you just. It doesn't matter what any. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Your job is just to bring the best package possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way you look now. How many weeks out is this?
Dude, I still got 3 months.
You know what? The way you're looking now, there's not conditioning is not going to be an issue. You're not unless you start doing some stupid things. You're not going to have to worry about any last minute, anything drastic. You're gonna be in shape 2 weeks, 3 weeks out. You can be practically stage ready.
That's my plan. I want to get as comfortable as possible. You know, even right now, if I had to guess, I think I'm somewhere around 7% body fat. Uh, I don't know, but I'm pretty low right now, and I feel comfortable. Like last time I dieted down to this, I felt worse. But I think because my diet's so complete and so well thought out that I don't feel like I'm dying right now. You know?
That's I'm telling you, if you're a legitimate 7%, you hear these guys from I stepped on stage 2% body fat, 3% body fat. I very much doubt it. If you're 5% body fat, your body fat levels are very low. I don't think these guys are. I don't think there's nobody stepping on stage 2% body fat. So if you're at a legitimate 7% body fat, your conditioning is not far off from where it should be when you step on stage. I think I don't think you're going to find anybody that's legitimately under 4% body fat on stage. I don't think you're going to be able
Oh,
to. I don't think I don't think you're going to be able to be on stage if you're legitimately 2% body fat. I don't think you'll be able to step on stage. You'll be in some sort of medical situation.
well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go to the Reno Diagnostic Center in the next week or two, and I'm gonna get my body fat tested there.
How do they test it over there?
Uh, Pretty sure it's water displacement or whatever that they do. They do the top notch shit for athletes there. So you pay $25 and they do the whole bit.
Okay,
And
let me see if I'm asking you if I'm wording right. What's the what's the that type of testing? What's the variance for error? What's the room for error?
I
How
don't,
much
I don't know, but I can tell you it's very small.
is that considered to be the most accurate measure? I'm just curious.
Pretty sure the dunk tank is the most accurate right now, is it not?
Okay, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
Like 99.9% accurate.
Okay.
So we'll find out, next couple of weeks, and that'll give us an idea of what to correlate those percentage numbers with the look, you know.
As I said, at that body fat, you can cruise along for a while. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying take it easy, but you don't have to make much at this point now. You don't have to make much changes with your diet yet.
No, I mean I've in the last week alone I've lost close to 2 pounds, and it just melted off me all of a sudden. I didn't change my diet yet. Just for whatever I think it's the extra cardio, but my diet right now I don't even need to change it. I'm still losing a lot of weight, and I'm pretty lean already. So
Well, I think the way you go now, any changes you make along the way, I think are going to be minimal. Are going to be
yeah,
minimal anyway. And that's always best because it's a lot easier that way.
absolutely. That's I know Jeff. He's gonna whatever we change next. It's not gonna be much.
Are you going to keep it? I'm going to try to round this up a little bit. Once again, I got to do my cardio, and because of Chris's technical, I got to lay the blame on somebody because Chris's technical errors.
Yeah.
I got a lot more work to do. Well, he's giving himself a lot of work to do also, because he's putting this up on his YouTube channel. You're going to be keeping us updated with your progress pics, right?
With progress pics.
Yeah.
I haven't put them on YouTube, but
Are,
I
are
probably
you putting
should.
Are you putting up anything on Instagram by any chance? You're putting up stuff on Instagram, right?
Yeah, I put up progress pics on Instagram and Facebook, and That's usually where I do like the more updated pictures, and I make the videos for
So
YouTube.
if anybody wants to follow you on the social media, well, if you want to see them on YouTube, you go to Buffy the Iron Slayer. If they want to follow you on the other social media to see how things are coming along, how do they find you?
Well, there's a billion Chris Millers on Facebook, but you'll see Chris Miller, and then under that you'll see Buffy the Iron Slayer. I might just change it to Buffy the Iron Slayer to make it easier for everybody.
And how
Maybe
do they find you on Instagram?
Buffy the Iron Slayer on Instagram.
All right, make sure you go over there and check out what's going on with Chris and give him all the support.
Thank you.
It'll be well appreciated. Now, let's get back to some business before we cut out. If you are watching this on Muscle Central, make sure you go over to Chris's channel, Buffy the Iron Slayer, and check out all his content. If you're watching this on Buffy the Iron Slayer, come over to Muscle Central, check out all my content. Either way, subscribe to both channels. Turn on your notifications, and you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. It'll make it a lot easier. You don't have to go searching. Chris has been fun. Oh, what I wanted to ask you, you had a soccer game last week. This week you had another soccer game. It was a morning game. How did your kid do?
They ended up not having it today because of 4th of July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we thought we had it. I thought we were doing it this weekend, and then they're like, no. So
Just one quick question before we sign out, which you brought it up at the very beginning also, with the everybody gets a trophy thing with the soccer game last week. Ultimately, the actual final score was 10-1.
yeah, that's what I
What was
counted.
10-1?
Yeah,
What was
10-1.
10-1. But they officially stopped counting at 7-1. All
Yeah,
right. My
like
my question was, I never got to ask you. What's your son's name?
Eli.
Eli. Did Eli ask you about anything about the score? If he did, what was your response to him? I'm very curious.
He didn't ask about the score. He just had fun playing the game,
All right, good.
and just talking about what we want to work on with him with practice and how he's going to come back to the next game even better. So, but yeah, he wasn't concerned about the score.
Okay.
Maybe because his team was just kicking butt, but I don't know.
How old is he now?
9.5.
Yeah, I think it's good that he did it, that it had no effect on him. But I'm actually a little surprised. I thought maybe a kid by that age might be like, "Hey, we scored more points than that. How come they didn't count them?"
Yeah,
But that's good. It's good that he did it.
he's more of like a free spirit, you know.
Okay,
He doesn't really stress about those things, really. He's just like, if he's having fun, that's just all he cares about.
that's
So
what counts. That's the most
yeah,
important thing.
yeah. I could see some of the kids they probably are keeping score. Like, I'm sure when I was that age playing, I was definitely keeping track of the score because I wanted to win. But you know, if the kid's having fun, and that's ultimately what we want them to do.
You working 4th of July?
I think I do. I don't remember. I might.
Yeah, I'm working 4th of July also.
I do
Don't
work it. Yeah, I do.
don't blow anything up.
Dude, I won't. I already got plenty of people in my neighborhood doing that already.
Yeah, I'm in a retirement community, so it's usually pretty quiet. The only noise we really hear around here is when they shoot off. We're not too far from the Lakehurst base. That's where it's very famous. That's where the Hindenburg went down
Oh
in Lake.
wow.
Yeah, they do bomb testing. They set off explosives over there.
Wow.
So when they're setting off explosives, we hear the boom, boom, boom. But other than that, I'm in a retirement community, so it's pretty quiet. Chris, I think we had a good one today,
Yeah, dude, I had fun talking. Definitely.
despite the few interruptions.
Oh my god, bro, that's driving me nuts.
Uh, it shouldn't be too hard. So any little glitches in the editing, folks, I'm very sorry. We'll try to not have that same problem again. Chris, I'll get back to you later on, within a day or two. If you need me to send anything over to you as far as recordings, let me know. And everybody, it's been fun. I hope you enjoy the video. We'll be getting back to you very soon. And thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night. Take care, Chris.
Thanks, everybody. Michael, be well. Thank you.
Good.